Hi, good afternoon or good morning. This is Unit 4, Lesson 4, How Many Groups, Part 1. So we're going to play with some blocks and diagrams to think about division with fractions. 4.1, equal size groups. Write a multiplication equation and a division equation for each statement or diagram. 8 $5 bills are worth $40. So 8 times 5 is 40. Or 5 times 8 is 40. That's one way to show it with multiplication. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. To show it with division, I could do 40 is my whole, divided by my part, which is 8, gives me 5. Or 40 divided by 5 gives me 8. All right, there are 9 thirds and 3 ones. So 9 times 1/3 gives me 3. Or 1/3 times 9 gives me 3. Those are my two multiplication equations. My division would be, well, 3 is my whole, divided by 9 is my part. That gives me 1/3. Or 3 is my whole, divided by 1/3 gives me 9. All right, the last one is right here. So the way we can show this is 5 times 1/5 gives me 1. Or 1/5 times 5 gives me 1. Just ignore this. I don't know what this is. And then division, 1 divided by 5 gives me 1/5. Or 1 divided by 1/5 gives me 5. All right. 4.2, reasoning with blocks. Your teacher will give you pattern blocks as shown here. Use them to answer the following questions. So you and your partner are going to use these blocks, okay? Make sure that you keep them organized. Don't drop them on the ground. Don't throw them because these cannot be replaced. So this one hexagon represents one whole. A rhombus represents what? A hexagon, or excuse me, a trapezoid represents what? And then a triangle represents what? So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the size pieces that they represent. So what you can do with your shapes is you can trace them down here if you'd like. Just don't write on them, please. Okay, so there's my hexagon. And then my rhombus, if I draw it right here, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So this would be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So my rhombus is 1/3. This is 1, and this is a hexagon. My trapezoid would be 1/2. So if I draw my hexagon, I can see that one of these is half of the whole. So then I can put this as 1/2. And this is your trapezoid. And then the triangle, if I were to put this here, I can see how many triangles fit in here. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So a triangle is just 1/6. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to fill in our amounts. So one triangle is 1/6. One rhombus is 1/3. One trapezoid is 1/2. 4 triangles would be 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6. That'd be 4/6 or 2/3. 3 rhombuses, 1, 2, 3 would be 1 whole. 2 hexagons, well that's 1, that's 2. And then 1 hexagon and 1 trapezoid would be 1 1/2. Okay. And again, you can use your shapes to build to see how many. So for example, 1 hexagon and 1 trapezoid, that gives you 1 1/2. All right, question 2. Here are Elena's diagrams for 2 times 1/2 equals 1 and 6 times 1/3 equals 2. Do you think these diagrams represent the equation? Explain your reasoning. So she's saying that 2 times 1/2, so I have 2 groups of halves. Does that give me 1 whole? Yes, it does. And then my reasoning is my picture right here. So yes, because 2 halves make 1 whole. And then if I have 6/3 in my rhombus, these are what makes the thirds. There's 3. And then there's 3. It makes 1 whole, which makes 2. So do you agree with this picture? Yes, I do. Because 6/3 makes 2 wholes. All right. Next is they want us to use pattern blocks to represent each multiplication equation. Recall the hexagon represents 1 whole, so 3 times 1/6. So if I have 3 of these, what have I just made? I've just made a half. And I can represent that with a picture, so let's draw that. So there's my 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. There's my 3 1/6, and that gives me my 1/2. 2 times 3 1/2. So to represent 3 1/2, I'm going to use, because these are each halves, so this represents a half, a half, a half. So there's 3 halves. And then I want to do that twice. So then here's another 3 halves. So then that gives me 1, 2, and then put these 2 together. That gets me 3 wholes. So I'm going to draw that picture. So there's 1 1/2. So there's my 3 halves. Then here's my 3 halves again. And all together that gives me 3. All right, last question. Answer the following questions. If you get stuck, use pattern blocks. How many halves are in 4? I got 8. How many 2/3 are in 2? I'm going to draw a picture for that one. That one's a little more challenging. So this is a 1/3. This is 1/3. So there's 1 group. This is 1/3. There's 2 groups, and this is a 1/3, and this is a 1/3. So there's 3 groups, and I can show you. So this is 1 group of 2/3. Another group of 2/3, and then another group of 2/3. So that gives me 3. How many 1/6 are in 1 1/2? So I'm going to represent 1 1/2 like this. And then I want to know how many 1/6 fit into that. So Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, and then I don't have any more green, so I'm going to move, so I have 6, and then 7, 8, and 9. So I had 6 here, I have 3 here, so that's 9. So let's draw that. So there's my 1/6, 1/6. And I have 9 of those. Okay, and that's it for the lesson. So hopefully you use the tangrams to help you understand how to take a number and see how many are into another number. My suggestion would be to read the lesson summary. I would probably annotate it, make sure you understand it, and then make sure you do your homework problems. All right, if you'll pause the video, I'm about to show you your homework answers. All right, here are your answers for your homework. So question 1, it will be 4 weeks that the cat can eat off the 3-pound bag. Some multiplication problems, what times 3/4 is 3, or 3 divided by 3/4 is what? If you actually multiply your answer, 4 weeks times 3/4, you do get 3, so it does work. Question 2, I broke these into 1/3 each, and I got 5. Question 3, I got C. Question 4, just remember multiplication is part times part equals whole, so therefore part times part equals whole. So when you're changing to division, what you want to do is you want to do your whole divided by one of your parts. So if my whole is 6, I'm going to divide by one of these. So 6 divided by 2/5 is 15, or 6 divided by 15 is 2/5. So just make sure the order does matter. Here, 6 times 4/3 is 8, so 8 is my whole. So what I'm going to do is change division to be 8 divided by my part. 8 divided by 4/3 is 6, or 8 divided by 6 is 4/3. Same thing over here. Again, remember it's part times part equals whole. So then what you want to do is you want to take your whole of 14 and divide by one of your parts. So 14 divided by 7/8 is 16, or 14 divided by 16 is 7/8. All right, question 5. Did he bring enough money? Yes, he did, because 100 divided by 8 people is $12.50, so $13 would be enough. Question 6, write a division with a quotient that is greater than this. So I said I just changed my dividend to be a bigger number, or I changed my divisor to be a smaller number. If I want my number to be less than 8, I'm going to change this to be a smaller number, or I'm going to change this to be a bigger number. Between these two numbers, so what I did was I left 8 alone, and I just found a decimal that's between 1/1000th and 1/10th, and I got 1/100th. So that's what I chose there, but your answers will vary. All right, and then the last one, I got 8 for A, 10 for B, 3000 for C, 1440 for D, and then 25 for E. All right, if you have any questions, you will have to either ask Miss Ashley or Miss Hartman, who are the math teachers in the pod, or just wait until I return on Monday. All right, hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys soon.